Ah, it's actually nice to have a puzzle/logic video game on the iPad that isn't just a find the object in the painting game. I mean, I don't really think those games take that much effort to make. All you really do is get some painter to draw some clutter in a Victorian-style mansion room, then program it to read your finger when the player clicks on the object. That's it. Usually, those games don't have a plot. This game actually does. In fact, I'm not ashamed to say that this is one of the best games you can get right now out on the App Store. I think this game is that good. I honestly do. To my understanding, this game is made by the critically acclaimed makers of the Professor Layton series. In fact, this game is actually a spin-off of the series, with one of the main protagonists being the son of Professor Layton. I was always slightly interested in the Layton series, but unfortunately, all the games were released on a DS device, which, according to my made-up statistics, only about 50 people own, the majority of the owners being about 7 to 10 years old. Luckily, the guys down at level 5 thought it was a good idea to actually make a game on a device that people actually own. The story has you play the recently new to the Scotland Yard Detective Constable Lucy Baker as she teams up with the bipolar genius detective Alfendi Layton to solve murders that plague London, apparently. To be honest, Lucy does most of the work, and basically Alfendi watches and makes sure that she's getting the case right. This game is not a graphical powerhouse, but it is a artwork powerhouse. Character design and settings fit nicely with vibrant colors, and it sort of has an interesting anime style to it. I think without this style, the game would have been much less well made. You would have very likely noticed that this game is not an action game and is not fast-paced, but it will require some basic brain power and logic at least. Each case basically follows a sort of bureaucratic way of solving it. First of all, Alfendi gives you the basic case details, and then he shows you the suspects. After that, he gives about 5 minutes to do a rough investigation of the crime scene to point out who Lucy thinks the culprit is. This is about as much action as you're going to get in this game. Basically, you scroll around the crime for relative data within the 5-minute time requirement. This part is simple enough. In fact, you could find some rather important evidence as long as you look closely and thoroughly. Despite this being a main component of gameplay, I actually feel that this is not the strong point of the game. The strong point is, however, actually in the dialogue. After you go through your little investigation, you start questioning the suspects, which I find entertaining because Lucy is always someone arguing with them. Ultimately, the suspect will actually help you with the investigation and search for more evidence, but this time answering questions like what is the murder weapon. Then in the end, you contact the culprit and enter into this destroy the suspect's innocence mode, which is, I actually find this one of the most entertaining parts of the gameplay, because it's always fun to rip apart the suspects' arguments. This game is not for people who do not like their user brain in a video game or read a lot of text in a video game. This is not an action game. If you like Call of Duty, if you like Halo, if you like Battlefield, if you like first-person shooters in general, you'll likely think this game is just about as fun as Siri responding to all your questions with your mom. Siri, can you tell me the address of the rec center?
Your mom.
Pa secunda. Siri, how do I get a girlfriend?
Your mom.
That makes, no sense. Now, for every positive, there's usually a few negatives. The game is very forgiving and kind of easy at times. If you answer clearly or get
Evidence simply let you start again, it over basically. Now, I know I'm criticized for this, in this game good. I say I will get criticized because the series has sound for its music, but the soundtrack in this game is good, cheap, no copyright Lucy Noir soundtrack. It's not my cup of tea, basically. So it's a little read dog, especially for Lucy, speech patterns and basically sound accent. Kind of remind you of Ellie McDonald, and you pretty much know what I mean. All in all, this is pretty great. I would very easily give this game at least an A-. Thank you for watching.